Welcome to Hispanic Biz Success Stories. I'm Homero Galicia. We have the privilege of hearing from entrepreneurs, their story, why and how they started the business. We hope you find these entrepreneurial ventures engaging and interesting. Today we're fortunate to have with us a wonderful person who's built a wonderful business, Mr. Jose Ochoa, the CEO and president of Global Containers and Custom Packaging Company.
Correct.
Thank you for being with us, Mr.
Thank
Ochoa.
you. Thank you for having me here, Omar.
So tell me, what is Global Containers and Custom Packaging?
Well, we are a company that provides packaging solutions and logistic solutions for the industry and now to government. And so basically what we do is that we provide all the protective packaging for any finished goods products, and then to protect that and to be moved from point A to point B. That's what we do. And in logistics, we do warehousing, inventory management, shipping, receiving, cross-docking, and so that's what we do on logistics.
What kind of customers do you have?
Oh, we have customers like Hewlett-Packard, Amazon, medical devices companies, electronics, automotive, a lot of automotive, and so that's the type of customers that we have right now. And we just recently started doing business with the Department of Transportation in Austin, and so we are looking to expand or diversify the core business of the company into federal government, because we have 13 years of experience and past performance with commercial. So I want to expand to government now.
And you operate on both sides of the border?
Yes.
You work with maquiladoras and Juarez?
Correct. Yeah, mainly in commercial side, we mainly serve the maquiladoras. You know, there's more than 300 maquiladoras here on the border. So it's one of our main activities. So it's a great market for logistics and packaging here.
How long you been in business now?
Since 2009.
And how big are you?
We have 25 employees, and we have 2 warehouses here in El Paso for a total around 25,000 square feet. And we are looking for more opportunities to expand in Texas and in other states if necessary.
Yeah, and your headquarters is where?
Here in El Paso on Goodyear Street.
Good, thank you. I appreciate that. And you have a partner you started with?
Yes, we started, both of us used to work for the automotive industry on Ciudad Juarez for a worldwide company, Delphi. And then, so over there, by working on the packaging engineering department, is where we learned the whole supply chain, the whole industry, global industry of logistics and packaging. So after several years, we come up with the idea to close the gap, because we feel a lot of frustration while dealing with vendors in U.S. and Mexico. So we come up with the idea that will be a good product or good value proposition for the market to really understand the client needs, the sensibility, the urgency, and so we took the leap to cover that gap, and it's a great journey.
And so what was the need that you saw that you wanted to address?
More than that, understanding and response to the client, because when you are in commercial in a worldwide companies, it's a lot of sensibility in terms of time delivery and commitment on the dates, and finding the right proposal or solution that makes sense financially and on the operational side. So we feel a lot of frustration on that. We struggle to find the right vendors, and so we come up with this idea to create a solution.
So you became the vendor for packaging?
Yeah, the vendor. Once we quit our jobs and we started from the ground.
So what is it that you do different than others?
To be honest, company culture company culture, we do a lot of work and a lot of education and constant innovation on our company with people. We empower a lot our team, and I understand that it's critical to strive in the market to empower people. You cannot do it by yourself. And also, a big thing for me is to keep growing myself on education, understanding, awareness, because you cannot have an A-level company with C-level leaders, right? So and also you cannot have an A-level company with C-level teammates, right, or employees. So that's why that's very clear for me. So that's why I'm always striving to.
So how did you learn that?
Just by talking with other business owners, being on in a lot of groups of entrepreneurs. I can say around the world during pandemic, I joined several groups of entrepreneurs in Europe, here in the States, in Mexico, in Latin America. So that helps me a lot, and I'm a big reader as well. I have more than 20 years reading every single day in topics of business and topics that make me, that help me to create thick skin for problems. So I find that as a great tool in defining moments when I'm challenging, when I'm facing big challenges on
How
my
do you
company.
do that? How do you develop thick skin? And why do you need it?
Well, how do you develop that? It's with, it's like an athlete, right? Every single day you gotta be having your plan and your commitment to learn something new and to unlearn things that you believe is true, and you have to get rid of those thinkings and understand and embrace new education, embrace new ideas.
Yeah, how do you see through the veil of the self-lies?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
You know what? I'm always very open to new ideas and to have long conversation with other big entrepreneurs. So I come up with a lot of aha moments when they told me things like, I say, wow, I mean, I never thought about that, right? It's different. So what my philosophy is to be always expanding my scope and my reach in terms of connections, right? Because if I only connect with local people, I mean, my scope of understanding and ambition will be very limited, right? Not because they are not, I mean, great people, great entrepreneurs, but that give me the vision of great people as well, but in other region, right? In other country. So it's different, you know, it's a different life here than in New York or Seattle or Europe. So that it's a lot of enrichment for myself. So that type of drive led me to, I mean, met fantastic guys like Mark Cuban, like Joe Foster, founder of Reebok, and people like that. So can you imagine? And also for locals, I mean, locals, I had some conversation with great icons of the industry here. And so I'm always like a sponge. I mean, just learning from them, listening to them. And what I do, I always try to cascade that information into my company to develop leaders on the company, because I know I cannot take the company to another level by myself. I need my team. I need my team, and so I empower them a lot.
Let me ask you about your background. Where are you from?
I'm from Chihuahua capital. My mother, it's from here. She's a U.S. citizen, but we grow on Mexico and Chihuahua capital. So I'm from there, and I studied on public schools over there. I'm an engineer on manufacturing.
Where'd you do your engineering program?
And Instituto Tecnológico de Chihuahua, number 2. And so yeah, I mean, it was a I mean, great life living there. A lot of learning, struggling a lot as well, and but yeah, I mean, for me, it's fantastic. I understand why United States have that Silicon Valley thing, because if you think about Silicon Valley, most of the people, 95% of people, it's from out of town, right? So they come together and they have a different vision of the city, of the country, and you come with a lot of dreams, right? So that helped me a lot. I mean, coming from Mexico to here, because I don't take it for granted. So I'm very grateful that this country opened the doors for me for big opportunities. So one of my biggest pleasures is to be able to give back to this country by creating employment, paying my taxes, and also helping other entrepreneurs.
Good. Tell me about your dad.
My dad, well, he passed several years ago in 2007, and he was a world champion on boxing for in Mexico, an amateur, and he was light welter in the weight. So in 1954, he won the Cinturón de Diamante championship. He went to the Pan American Games in Venezuela as well. He was a great boxer. I'm very proud of that. And so I always say that my father was a fighter, and I'm a fighter as well, but we select different arenas. He select the ring, and I select the business arena. And but I'm very proud of my father.
What was his name?
Jose Ochoa as well.
And
Jose Guadalupe Ochoa.
And that was his boxing name?
Yeah, Lupe Ochoa. They call it Lupe Ochoa. He's on the Hall of Fame on Chihuahua Capital for the state, and with other great boxers and great athletes. You know, Mexico is very well known to have the best boxers in the world. So yeah, my father was very good, and unfortunately he didn't pursue the professional career, but I'm sure if he did that, he should be very
What did you do
successful.
after as a profession?
Oh, he was he created his own company on reselling construction materials.
Okay.
So yeah, so after that he stopped doing that because he hurt himself badly, and so he's staying in home after that. He
But
retired.
he was an entrepreneur, though.
Yeah, as well as my mother.
And
You
your
know
mother,
what?
Tell me about your mother. What was-
Yeah, well, my mother, her name is Patricia Ramirez, and so yeah, when my father decrease on his business, I mean, we start struggling a lot. So my mother stepped up, and she was like great on sales. She was great on sales. She started selling jewelry. She started selling bedding items for mattresses and all that. So she created a very nice business for years from nothing. And I think I obtained my vision of entrepreneurship by looking her and my father doing that. Also, a big icon for me, it's the younger sister of my mother, which is an aunt that I have in Ciudad Juarez. So every summer, she hired me to work on her company, on construction, and so every single summer, I came from Chihuahua to Ciudad Juarez to work in summer, very hard, but she teach me a lot.
So you have an aunt that has a construction company in Juarez.
Construction company, very successful for more than 30 years, and she teach me a lot. Every time that I have a challenge or things like that, I rely on her. I call her just to advise, and vice versa. Now I'm very proud that sometimes she asks for my personal opinion on business. Hey, I have this situation. What do you think about that?
Wow.
So that's very nice. It's a big honor for me. I never imagined that.
And you have brothers and sisters?
I have one sister. She lives on New Mexico on Roswell.
Hmm. And you're married?
I'm married. Yeah.
And you have children?
Yeah, I have two teenagers, 17 and 16-year-old boys.
Wow.
It's challenging. It's the most challenging job that I have.
High schoolers.
High schoolers. Oh my gosh, it's hard, and but I learn a lot in the process.
So what did you learn from your parents?
My parents, work ethic, a lot of work ethic, dream, and the value of education. The value of education.
So when you came out of with your engineering degree from University of Chihuahua, what was your first job?
I have a good story there. So when I graduated, it was in 2001. So it took me a year to find a job. It was a very bad season on Mexico, 2001. So a lot of lack of opportunities, and the payments very extremely low. And so during that year, so what I did, I came back to school, and I did studies on leadership for like 4 months, something like that. And in the meantime, I was just spreading my resumes all over the city, and an old Datsun, red Datsun that it used to have, a 78 Datsun. So I was driving one of the days there, and one of the main avenues on the streets on Chihuahua capital, a guy with a big truck hit me. So it crashed my car, and I was like, oh my gosh, I mean, I have another problem beyond, finding a job. So the guy was in the hurry. He gave me his business card. So when I was back in home on my room, I was looking the business card of the guy. Say, oh, the guy is a business owner, small business owner. So I called the guy, and the guy say, hey, I told you I'm gonna pay you tomorrow. Don't worry about that. I said, no, you know what? I'm not worried about that. I'm asking for an opportunity. I'm an engineer, and I know you are a business owner, and I would like to have an opportunity. And he was like, oh my God, I didn't expect that. Say, okay, see me tomorrow in my office. So I ended up working like 2 months for him, and then one of his friends hired me to sell water systems for hotels and residential. So I was surviving all those months by selling water filtration systems.
Yeah.
And I back then I was my wife was my girlfriend, and I told her, you remember those days when because of those water filtration systems, I was able to take you to the movie theater or to buy tacos or things like that, right? And put gas. But I knew it's not going to be my end goal. So later after that, I moved for opportunities into Ciudad Juarez.
But you had a vision of something?
A vision?
Yeah.
My vision, to be honest, is always be better. And yes, I dream about having my own company, because as I say, on summers, I saw my aunt with his company, growing, and I saw her leading meetings and making deals and all that. And I was like, wow, that's great. I want something like that for me. And looking my mother previously, so I knew it's a matter of being well educated and have the work ethic, learn, and then apply all that into a solution of value for others.
And how'd you get into the maquila industry?
Well, when I moved to Ciudad Juarez, so it took me around 2 months to find an opportunity on Delphi Automotive Systems. So they gave me an opportunity there on the technical center. Delphi used to have the biggest technical center in the world here in Ciudad Juarez. So it was a huge experience for me. It was huge. Great school, so they gave me the opportunity, and they hired me for packaging engineering, which I never heard about packaging before. Packaging, I talk about a box or something like that. But packaging engineering, it's a huge world, right? It's very critical in any industry, and you interact with people all over the world, right? Because your job is to keep every single part, let's say, of a car with integrity and to arrive to the destination safe and with all the functions in place, right? So it's challenging and it costs a lot of money. Packaging, it costs a lot of money to companies, so they have to have a well-established packaging system for their operations in order to be successful.
Wow. So the transportation of the product has to be protected. So that's where you come in, really.
Yeah.
And you're an engineer in packaging then, I guess.
Yes.
Right? Wow.
Yeah, I learned that. Big school.
So how long did you work for Delphi?
I worked for them like 3.5 to 4 years, and then I moved to Siemens on the automotive industry as well for powertrain. And I learned there for another three years, great school as well, working with Germans. And after that is when I quit and I start on this entrepreneurship journey.
So you can say you were trained by Delphi and by Siemens.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always recommend others to learn a lot from those big schools, those industries, any industry you can work for, Coca-Cola or HP, I mean, for whatever industry, learn a lot, find for the opportunities, have awareness, right? Don't go just and do your job, I mean, like a machine, right? Like a routine. Just always be aware of all those opportunities, all those connections that will lead you to your next step.
And so you prepared those 6 years, I guess, before you started your business, and then you launched. Then you saw the need with your partner, and you decided to launch out and create this company. So, how did you do? Did you start with a client, or did you start with a warehouse, or what did you start with?
No, we started from scratch. I started with my phone on my dining table, just making calls, prospecting. For companies and or one of the clients that we have right now for 13 years, it was the first client, and it took me like 10 to 12 calls every week to offer my services until one day they say, the purchasing lady say, I know you are Jose, right, Jose? Okay, and I know you have been asking for an opportunity. So how fast can you be here? Because the owners of the company, the directors, are here and we have packaging problems. So you better hurry. So after a lot of rounds of calls, so I was there and they gave me the opportunity. They say, we are going to give you the opportunity. We are going to trust on what you say you know. And from there, I mean, we still in business with them till now.
Wow. So what'd you do? I mean, you all of a sudden now you had to package, you had to buy equipment, material. What'd you do?
No, we are distributors. So what I do, I hire the manufacturers, and they manufacture for me to create the packaging that I agree with the client.
Okay.
And then we handle and manage their inventory, and we do inventory stock for them, and we supply on demand. So that way they don't have to have all the packaging material sitting down on the floor, on the production floor, which they use for production. And instead of that, we are the partner that we have all that responsibility of 100, 200 part numbers, and our responsibilities to supply those items on time and with the right quality and in the right terms.
So you're not just logistics. You handle the product from packaging.
Yes.
So now do you manufacture packaging?
No.
You're brokers.
We are brokers. We're still brokers. We see our value there on having the capability to have hundreds and hundreds of vendors, well-qualified vendors. So that way, when we talk with a new client, we can give them a lot of options of the protective packaging for them. And we are very flexible. We bundle our services like, okay, I can help you with the packaging, but I can give you a better pricing if you allow me to handle your inventory management and the shipments to you, and also to handle the quality inspection for your issues on the operation. So they say, oh, that's a good idea. I mean, because I have to deal only with one company, and if they are in a good level of service, they will fix a lot of problems for me, and that help us to provide them a better competitive price.
So you work with your clients from the end of production, the packaging, to delivery, to warehousing.
Yeah, to warehousing, to deliver, to redesign the packaging if necessary, to validate the packaging if necessary. We recommend packaging changes if they allow us to do that, and we create solutions for them. Let me give you an example. A few years ago, the sister company of Toyota, which is a company called Kawashima, they manufacture the rolls of cloth for the interiors of the Corolla, the Camry, the Avalon, and they were having a lot of issues of quality. Okay, but they are located on South Carolina and Hermosillo, Mexico, which is very far from their final client in Juarez, which it was Johnson Controls. So we create a solution here on the city for them. So we offer them a small facility just exclusively for them. So we receive their production of rolls, we do the inspection, and then according to what they need, and then we certify the material, and then we storage for them, and we supply his client on demand. So that gives them the opportunity to fix their quality issues on their facilities, and not risking the relationship with the client, because the client was very, very angry about having a lot of quality issues. So we serve as the partner here. So we were able to create a flow of certified material in great quality for the client, and gives them the time to fix their issues.
So you really have to understand
Yeah.
Delivery and logistics.
Yeah,
Wow.
and again, we understand that because of our previous background,
Sure.
right? Working for the automotive industry, we know what they need.
Sure. And so you've been in business since what year, Mr. Ochoa?
2009.
And you saw a need. You worked for Maquilas. You worked for
Yes,
Delphi
correct.
and Siemens. And you saw a need. What was that need that you saw?
I saw the need of better understanding of the clients, of the industry, in terms of timing, quality, concepts, cost, and partnership. Because unfortunately, when I used to work for those companies, and I used to deal with vendors in United States and Mexico on the packaging and logistics field, I saw that they act more like a transactional company, and I hate that, because you cannot survive or be successful launching your packaging and your concepts by just doing transactions with the vendors, right? You have to have partnerships. So that partnership will help you to be in good hands if you need to redesign your packaging, if you need to change your packaging, if you want to do a more cost-effective solution. And I mean, it's a partner right to you, shoulder to shoulder. And I didn't saw that before. So I come up with my business partner to this conclusion, right? Like, you know what? I think we have a good opportunity of creating a value proposition like that for the market. So we took the leap to to start this journey.
It's interesting you talk about transaction because most people see business as a transaction.
Yes.
But they don't see that there has to be some depth there.
Yeah.
And so what you saw was a need to make it more than just a transaction, but to make it a relationship.
Correct.
So what you're saying is a transaction doesn't necessarily mean a relationship.
No.
It's just a buy-sell.
Yeah, that's
But
all.
when there's a relationship, what's the difference between that? What is a relationship?
Well, and when you are in the mindset as a company, when you are in the mindset of transaction, so your only goal is to close the deal and just pull the check, right? That's all. And you want to deliver. So in that mindset, you are not aware of your quality level, your response level, your customer service level, right? Your commitment. I mean, and I mean like a white glove service, right? So because you are only focused on transaction. And for me, the best way to see business, it's a partnership. So my responsibility or my relationship with the client is not finishing when I deliver my product or service, right? It's beyond that. It's like in few weeks, ask them, hey, how was it? Everything was good. It's working as you expect it to work, and what else can I do for you? And so that way, it creates a bonding for long term. And let me tell you why I believe it works, because most of our clients stays in average 5 years, up to 10 years. Okay, so that talks a lot about value, right? They find value in you. They don't want to get rid of you, right? They want to keep you as a partner, and of course, they are always pushing you to be better, and you are pushing them to be a better client as well, right? So we always have that mindset, and I think that's one of the main reasons why we still relevant on the market.
So you worked for the industry. You learned. You're a trained engineer. So you see things with some preparation. Then you learned with the maquila. When you started your business, though, and you got your first customer, you still have that customer?
Yes, we still have the relationship with that client, which is Hewlett Packard.
Since what year?
2009.
Wow. And so when you started, you had you didn't have a warehouse yet. You didn't have.
No. So you gotta be creative, right? Because you don't have resources, right? So we didn't have any investors or any like venture capital, like which is very popular right now.
You just had confidence.
Yeah, I just trust in myself, trust on my capabilities, and on my creativity. Mm-hmm. So that forced you to be very empathic, very creative, and do a fast response, and respect your client and your vendors, right? Because you have to rely, as a middleman, you have to rely on the quality of your relationships with vendors, your manufacturers, and with your client, right? So that way, they help me a lot to keep that business connection and to make sure that my client see a lot of value on myself, on my company, even that they know I'm a distributor and I'm a middleman, right? So when you're a middleman, you gotta step up in the level so much that they want to keep you there as a middleman.
So you interface between the manufacturer and the packaging vendor.
Yes.
To make sure packaging is done correctly, and then you offer some logistical support as well.
Yes.
And so how long was it before you got your facility in?
We started with a facility, well, let's call it facility, of like 2,000 square feet. No, less than that. It was like maybe 1,500 square feet, just one desk. I mean, and from there we start like hiring, right? Hiring, because I recognized early on the stage that you gotta create a team, because so those new teammates, they are going to free you time to do what you do best, which is, in my case, was selling. I was good on sales. So the time that I free by bringing team players to the plate, I utilize that time to increase the business by selling more and by doing business development and all that. So that was like the formula back then. And then we grow to 5,000 square feet, and then to like 7,000 square feet. And now we have a facility of like 17,000 square feet and another close to 8,000 square feet.
And you divided the labor between you and your partner?
Yes, correct.
How do you divide that?
Yeah, so we happen to split the responsibilities and what we like most, and we see our capabilities or our strengths. So my partner, it's more on the logistics side, and also looking for new clients. And myself, I'm more like in providing the strategy, opening new doors with new opportunities and new organizations, and bringing the value of education to the company. And I always like to be on the vision, looking the strategy, and looking new ways to do business.
You're looking to the future.
Yes.
What were some of the early challenges that you had as you grew?
Oh, people, for sure.
Yeah.
People, selecting the right players. And I have to say that we did a great job, because our core staff is the same since day one.
Really?
So they wanna grow. So what I love to do is to show them what's my vision, how do I see the company in the future. So I inspire them to become part of the plan, and we share with them the benefits of achieving those milestones. And I'm as well as I am a big aficionado of continuous education, so I push my people to be always on continuous improvement. That's how we became ISO 9000 certified.
Okay, wow.
And yeah, we are always
So
looking for that.
your customer base is expanded. So besides Hewlett Packard, what other kinds of customers do you have?
We have companies on the automotive and the computers and medical field, and now we are expanding into government because we see a great opportunity for government taking advantage of our parts performance with commercial. So we are expanding operations on that field. We offer them as well to clients different services, like not only packaging and logistics. We increase our services like in consulting and packaging, and also on quality inspection, cross-docking. So everything that makes sense to bundle as a services for them, so they find a one-stop shop only.
But business growth has issues.
Yes.
And you've had issues.
A lot.
What kinds of issues have been big ones?
Well, I think the most challenging issue we faced in 2018, one of our biggest clients filed for bankruptcy overnight. We didn't see that coming, so we ended up to lost $1 million on cash that they didn't pay back to us. And the only thing that we recuperated was $45,000, and the lawyer to protect us cost our company $50,000. So that was hard. That was super challenging. And to be honest, I mean, my business partner and myself, we were afraid, we were scared. And we start like listening a lot of voices from outside people saying, oh, you know what, you gotta shoot down now so you avoid more pain or get rid of people, all that. So after a lot of thinking on thinking on strategies, so we decide to do not get rid of anyone, any of the employees. So we keep all the employees. We cut the money on ourselves, of course, and then we start looking for opportunities to improve, to be better, to be faster, to be more productive, and all that. So during that time, I saw on the news, on LinkedIn, I think on LinkedIn, I saw that Microsoft was launching the first binational business accelerator program here on the border. So I apply and I reinvest, right? Because you have to pay around $2,500 or $3,000. I don't remember exactly, but you have to pay to participate. But I thought that was the perfect tool to change the morale and the mindset of the company. So I took part of my staff into the classes every single week, and we learn a lot from experts on finance, marketing, value proposition, sales, and strategy, all that. So I was eager to take all the juice out of that, and we ended up doing a pitch. I ended up doing a pitch in front of government of Texas, government of Chihuahua, Microsoft, and other business owners like maquiladoras. And I was fortunate enough to win the first place. So Microsoft gave us $25,000 investment on our company, and that gave me a lot of exposure. So, and after that, I ended up to sending my story of resiliency and all that to the magazine Entrepreneur in United States. And I made, that day I was wearing red Jordans shoes that I love it because of what means to me. It's the excellence of the guy, right? I mean, the top game, Michael Jordan, the red color of passion, right? The passion that you have to run your business, to face challenge. So I told Brad Smith, the president of Microsoft, about the idea of signing my shoes so I can put on display on my office, so our organization see that as a milestone, right? That we cross and we start getting traction and recuperating our own company, right? So still in display over there, and the Entrepreneur magazine loved the picture with Brad Smith and myself with the shoes signing. And why not? I think we have to be brave enough and proud enough to share big setbacks like that, big mistakes, because I consider that a mistake from my side as a CEO by not looking what's coming, right? So it was a big mistake from my side, and but I learned a lot. I see that event as a $1 million master degree in business, right? So the most expensive education is business.
So how long did it take you to recover?
We're still recovering. I mean, little by little. Back last year, 2021 was the most epic year of the company in 13 years. But we're still there. We're still growing. We're still, I mean, like healing that big setback, because it's $1 million, right? I deal with, I mean, multi-billion-dollar companies that if they lost $20,000, they are on their knees crying and this. I say, and you as a small business owner, I was facing a $1 million loss.
Oh, gee.
But you know what helped me a lot? Being on my house with the support of my family, and just asking myself or selling myself the idea that there's no bankruptcy or client that can take out of me my value as a person.
Wow.
No, I mean, money is money. Even it's $1 million, it's a lot of money. But what I trust is in my capabilities, in my work ethic, in my drive. So if I have health and I have my family to support me, I can start from the ground again. and create something probably even bigger. So when I convince myself about my value, it's when I personally start to doing better things for the company and expanding the wings.
So that really opened up.
Yep.
The other thing is, I remember you received SBA award for Exporter of the Year. Was
Exporter of the Year 2017. They give us that award in 2017, and it was great. So it was a great award for our company.
And you also you've also received other awards.
Yeah, and awards like the winning the binational program of Microsoft, call it the Bridge Accelerator. Also, after that I jumped into a scaling business program for Latino business owners from Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
So they accepted me, and it was on 2020 during the pandemic. So right there, I graduated from there. I was able to receive coaching one-on-one from Mark Cuban during pandemic and how to deal with the pandemic. He was connected with us from his house, and I mean, can you imagine? I mean, how can all the things that you can learn from a guy, an icon like him, and he was, I mean, fantastic, mind-blowing. All the advice that he gave us, like trusting yourself, trusting your team, be loyal to your clients, be loyal to your vendors. So I graduated from there, and then so I started. I mean, I'm always on a dynamic transition on groups.
That Stanford scaling program was set up to bring Hispanic entrepreneurs from across the country together, and headed by Jerry Porras.
Correct.
Who is Stanford Professor Emeritus, who happens to be from El Paso.
Yes.
Went to Austin High.
Yes.
A genius. And he's written a book called Built to Last.
Yes, a fantastic book that I hear it's one of the favorite books of Jeff Bezos, right?
Oh,
from Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
And and Jerry Porras is a very, very humble guy, but he put up this Stanford program, and they really helped grow a lot of Hispanic business across the country. Yes. And you were able to participate online and go to the seminars and all of that. That's wonderful. You also became a friend of a shoe manufacturer. Who was that?
Yeah. During pandemic, I joined several groups of entrepreneurs and around the world. So I received the invite from a group called the One Golden Nugget, based on London. And so the main purpose of this group is to spread the wisdom with other business owners. So I enrolled myself on that group, and it happens that the Joe Foster, the founder of Reebok, it was one of the founders as well, with us over there on the group. So we start having a relationship. I was able to hire him for a talk of 1 hour for my clients and my vendors and friends and the company to share with us over Zoom his story of how he grew Reebok from a small shop in Bolton, UK, to a multi-billion-dollar company around the globe. So we became very good friends. I had the opportunity last year to have a dinner with his wife, himself, my wife and I on Paris. They lived near to Paris back then. So we share a nice dinner over there. We become very great friends, and I help him to have connections in Mexico City to launch his book Shoemaker for Latin America. So the name of the book in Spanish is Crea Sneakers, and so he invited me to be with him on Mexico City on the press release for his new book.
So what are your challenges today going forward?
Well, it's always day one. It's always day one, and you have to see every single day as the beginning of your company. So what I mean by that is that you have to keep looking all those challenges right now, like challenges in technology, on market share, on employees, on leadership, on financials, and in everything. So you gotta be very aware and very sensitive to the market, because the market is not like before now. Like before, you say, okay, we can stay good for a couple of years, and then let's see the strategy for a couple of years. Now, the market change every month, right? Every month. So you gotta raise the bar and always be aware of what's coming, what's next, and how do you prepare your company to keep relevance, right? As a small business owner, it's difficult because you have limited resources and you have limited reach, but little by little you start building. I learned that from Joe Foster, the founder of Reebok in Mexico City. I was having a dinner with him there, and he say, I laugh when guys in around the world, young guys, they told me, hey, how much people invest in your company back then, and what round of series of seed money. I say, guys, I did it bootstrap. It took me 31 years to really scale my company. And now we agreed, he and I agreed that, in the moments we are living, young people or new entrepreneurs, if they see that the business is not growing or getting traction in the first year, 2 years, they quit and they start crying, right? And it takes a lot of time.
So where did you learn how to grow a business?
How to grow business? By building little by little, just having common sense about putting the right pieces, honoring your word, honoring your clients, honoring your vendors, honoring your team. So when you create that trust and that bonding, everybody start going in the same direction, so that way you can scale. And you gotta be listening to conversations beyond your company, right? Beyond.
But common sense to you is different from common sense.
It's a science.
It may be common to you, but it's not common to others.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, but that common sense, you strengthen that by, again, learning from others. Because otherwise, if you go only from your office to your home every single day, and you don't have conversation with other business owners locally and in other regions, how come you are going to improve yourself? How come you are going to get
So is that
ideas?
key to your growth?
It's key, absolutely key. And I always recommend to other business owners that, to keep learning. It's mandatory. It's not an option. It's mandatory. If you don't do that, your destiny will be failure. That's the way I see it.
So what's most important right now in your business?
People. People is the most important thing, because without my team, I cannot achieve anything. Anything of the vision that we have is not achievable if I don't have my team, if I don't have my people, if my people don't trust on me, if my people is not 100% engaged with the direction that we have as a company, right? And I give them open book to bring new ideas, to challenge me, right? That, hey, you know what, Jose? I think you are incorrect on this vision. I think we have to go in this direction. I embrace that. I like people that challenge me.
Where'd you learn that?
I learned that by experience, by jumping to conclusion that I am not always the only one with good ideas. You have to listen to others, which is very difficult, to be honest, to just close your mouth and listen to others. It's difficult, but it gives you exponential gains.
Wow, fantastic. Well, Mr. Ochoa, we really appreciate you sharing your story. It's a wonderful, dynamic story.
Thank you.
Of how you're growing your business. in global global containers and custom packaging. That's huge. Appreciate that, and appreciate you sharing this story, and wish you a lot more growth and success. But thank you for joining us, and we appreciate the viewers for watching. We trust that you learned a lot from this great story, and ask you to keep tuned for our Hispanic Biz Success Stories. Thank you. Have a good day.